With a little bit of luck and absolutely sweating and pouring tears as we grinded for 24 hours, all live streamed on this MrSneakyy Plays channel, we was able to finish the Godforge alpha experience in basically a day of playing, and we came sixth, which is absolutely monstrous. And yes, if you guys want to call me a degenerate, that's perfectly fine, because I did keep saying to you guys I am a true degen when I want to be one, and this was me really putting myself to, you know, through a test and to kind of see if I could do it, to be honest, still as a content creator. And I'm going to give you my kind of thoughts and experience about that. I'm also going to give you tips and tricks with heroes to look out for. So if you are stuck on stages 120 or even stages 90 or even going up to 140 and 142s, by watching this video, hopefully you should learn a little bit of information and some key real upgrades for your account. So the first thing is, I want to say congratulations to Lyco and Fusion. They are the first two official winners of the competition to Vegas. They finished first and second, killing Fafnir in the first day, which was absolutely, again, insane, absolutely insane. And then I also want to say GG and congratulations to Pio Pico, another fellow content creator. So you can see he was the first content creator to finish. I was the second, and I believe Papa Tez there is the third content creator to all finish. So big shout out to all of us three, because I believe between me and Pico there was around 20 minutes on who could have been first, and I don't know what the time was between me and Tez, but look how close and competitive this was. It was so sick to see, and I want to say thank you for everyone who participated so far. And honestly, I absolutely enjoyed this experience so far. But now, let's get into the juiciness. How was I able to get to stage 150? Because I did farm certain stages. So just to give you guys a really big heads up on this, I actually farmed for the longest of time when I was going to 110 and up to 120. I actually farmed stage 68 and 69. These two stages were actually really pinnacle for me and actually on my progress, because this is the area where when you go in, you can drop legendary weapons. And there is a really good post on the Discord, which I wish I knew sooner, but from memory, I remembered the Thunderbolt. The Thunderbolt is Zeus's weapon, and you're able to get it from this stage. And it does percentage health damage to the bosses or enemies that you're fighting, which is fantastic at killing them even quicker. And this was a really key piece to getting to like level 30 and level 40 to allow me to actually do tons of damage and just get through the stages. So I did stage 68 to get the weapon, and stage 69 as a farming level to get the God Steel to upgrade those weapons, right? From here though, I did farm a little bit of stage 70, and you can re-watch this all on my live stream as well. I stage 70, and I did a little bit later on stage 80. I purposely did it for epic heroes, because you do need some epic heroes to go through. And I'm telling you, when you see the hero section of today's video, you're gonna be like, oh my god, I actually have some amazing heroes and I'm not using them. Why? And it's just one of them things, like, you never know until you try them, right? If it's your first experience, it's your first experience. And with this, I got my epic heroes, and I was lucky, I'm not gonna lie. I was lucky during this farming stage because I was able to get a couple of legendary heroes, which I will showcase in a moment. But then from here, I was able to push up. I was able to easily clear stage 90. And then when we came down to it, 100 was easily cleared, and keep going all the way up there to 120. And this is where I basically did hit my first milestone. And the issue is with the Golden Guardian for many people is you may actually have the damage. Like, you may have the damage to actually beat the boss, but you keep dying. This is on stage 60. This is on stage 120. The reason why you're dying is because of the ultimate ability here. So it says attack all enemies 3 times, and if the Guardian's HP is above 1%, you instantly defeat all enemies, ignoring ward, immortal, barrier, shield, radiance, and intercept. And if there's at least one enemy remaining, the Guardian's form will be destroyed. So if you're able to actually survive this damage through here, you will beat the Golden Guardian. He will fall over, and congratulations, you get through it. So remember that in your push. If you're watching this video and you're still stuck on it, remember that, because this means you need to upgrade your weapons, your gear, your stats of your of your heroes that you're using in your team formation, and you're going to be able to actually beat this, right? So from here, I actually just kept moving forward and kept going down and down and down, and I needed to farm again a little bit of the currencies, these little currencies here, to upgrade the stars of my heroes, because when we show off the heroes now, you'll see I was incredibly lucky with my teams that I was able to play with, but each hero served a purpose, and a lot of people don't realize that in this Alpha Wave 3. Sham does stay in the podcast, which was a really big insight to me, because we was listening to the podcast while playing Godforge, and he said this while I was a little bit struggling in the stages 130 and 140, and he said, the deeper you go, you will need crowd control. That is the best way of putting it. They have made it in Alpha Wave 3 that even if you own the cheat code himself, Zeus, guess what? You can't just nuke through every single wave. You just physically can't do it. People are going to survive, and because they survive, you're going to die in result. So you do need some crowd control in there, and that was what tend to make me work, right? And because of that, as I said, my roster of heroes, and basically from 50 upwards, is what I used. The only regret I had was Horus, and that was just because I unlocked Horus, and I personally thought he was going to replace my Brynhild, and I was wrong. Brynhild was so goddamn good, it was insane, right? So let me talk about the DPS that I think you guys should be running if you don't own, obviously, Zeus, because Zeus is cheat code status, right? So the first thing, if you've not guessed it, is Achilles. Achilles, to me, especially in Alpha Wave 3, was like the king. He was the king of DPS, and I know it sounds kind of crazy, but he really was. The fact that his ability allows you to stack 3 stacks of bleed is huge, because you're able to actually attack once, if you imagine, in that turn and get 3 stacks of bleed, and in the same turn you're able to actually trigger your retaliation skill here, right? So you've got retaliate on now. We're happy. Anyone attacks us, aka the boss, we're gonna attack back. We get to apply 3 stacks, then we get to go back next turn, A1 again, we get to apply 6 stacks if we attack by the enemy. Boom, retaliate, we're on 9 stacks already. And that is without any sort of commanders or heroes or gods, whatever you want to call them, because I'm too much of a city builder. I do apologize. I'm trying to adapt, right, my terminology. If you don't have heroes like Shamash or Hippolyte, you can still easily achieve this through just Achilles on his own, right? Because this bleed will honestly beat stage 120, 150, and 90 on its own. This one skill will do 10% of the max HP of the boss, and it will cut him down like butter. And the other thing you'll need is a second DPS. So if you don't own our good old Zeus here, Guan Yu. Guan Yu or Beowulf, to me, and even Gilgamesh, these 3 heroes, and you can see I actually had this guy awaken 3, and I was prepared to use him until I actually unlocked the Zeus, which was a bit fortunate and lucky on my end, like I'll happily admit. But if I didn't have Zeus, I would be using these heroes. And I do plan on making some stage 120 guides with different formations for you guys, so you can see it and actually be, oh, okay, we don't need these insanely powerful heroes, we just need some good team synergy and good gear, and we can actually complete it, right? But yeah, any of these DPS are fantastic in Alpha Wave 3. Guan Yu for me is an all-star because you get to place Drain, which allows you to have more survivability again in those boss stages, but as well, he does 5% of the max HP, and if we're doing technically 15% of max HP in one turn. That is a lot of damage the boss is taking very quickly, right? So you can see we're able to actually kill bosses really easily. We really are. And that is because of Guan Yu and Achilles as a little DPS combo. So then you need to survive. And the biggest combo in the game that I used for the longest of time, I'll be honest, I used this combo from wave 1 to about stage 130, 135. My team composition was Isolde, Tristan, and Brynhild. Then it had been Zeus, or Guan Yu, or Achilles, depending on the situation I needed, right? But I always ran these 3 heroes. And why did I run these 3 heroes? Well, Isolde, as many other content creators will tell you as well, she is the best healer probably in this game, especially for the defender compositions, because you're going to be healing 5% of your hero's max HP whenever a defender is attacked. And if you build her correctly, like my Isis here, because Isis is the same, by the way, she's shielding on her HP. When you look at the gear, I had over 46,000 HP. And if I could get more, I would get more, right? And this is the way you heal. Actually having this insane HP pool. And then what would happen then with your Isolde, as you can imagine, she's going to be healing anytime Tristan or Brynhild is attacked. And because of that, your team is super tanky. You're just able to survive through the damage. And what's really cool too is in the early game, you can use Tristan as the kind of actual tank, which means you can max out on the defense as hard as you can. So you can get this really big shield. It's a 200% shield on him. And if a soldier is on the same team, her shield is increased by 50%, so she gets even more to make her survive, so which is a really good little team synergy there. You also place Radiance, and this is really underlooked, because this Radiance is reducing, again, 10% of the damage you take and reflecting it back, and on a soldier, it's 20%, again, and being reflected back. So anytime the bosses, the Golden Guardian, Fafnir, you name it, you see that big swipe that they do, and they hit your team and slap you, guess what? You'll get like a giant AoE heal, and you're going to deal a giant AoE damage back, because they're going to reflect basically 20% back, which is so good for this team. And Brynhild, at the start, when you first get her without an awakening, you're going to be using her basically as a debuffer. Honestly, use her as a debuffer and a kind of tempo hero, because you're able to place a tack down 2 on the target for 2 turns. That's huge, especially on the Golden Guardian. This makes you honestly survive almost on its own, but then you are able to put a defense up 2 on everyone. So if it's the turn the Golden Guardian or Fafnir is about to do their ultimate and they're about to kill you, well, if you pop this defense up 2 and they already have this on, guess what? You're good. You're safe. Don't worry about it. And if you're super scared, guess what? Our guy, again, is going to be putting the shield and a radiance on us anyway. So we're safe either way if you don't have it up, as long as you manage these 2 heroes. However, Brynhild just becomes one of the best heroes, honestly, as soon as you awaken Freya. I can't believe how game-changing it is when she gets this 200% defense shield, and then you upgrade her skills, so then when you look at them, she gives you a 250% defense shield, on top of the Radiance 2, on top of the defense up 2, and Intercept, which is super popular, because the Intercept does make it so they target the Brynhild, meaning that Isolde is safe again, and forces the heals across your team, making everyone survive. It's fantastic. This little trio, I would advise anyone first time in it, rock them. Rock these 3. You're not going to go wrong. It's just such a powerful combination in there, right? But now, the control. Because the thing is, even though I had Zeus, and even though I had Shamash, and even though I had Isis, Quetzalcoatl, and even technically at Ra, and Hel, and Anubis, and Odin, even though I had all of these heroes, I couldn't kill 142. I couldn't. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I could not get through 142. I couldn't get through 143 either afterwards, going back to the normal strat that I was doing. Because Sham says it in the podcast himself. You're not going to be able to nuke the wave. And how right was he? He was so right, because as we were pushing in this 140 territory, we were listening to the podcast, he said the statement, and my brain just went ding, and the light bulb came on. And the two heroes that honestly beat 150 was Mordred and Scatty. And it was insane, because I would use Scatty alongside my Shamash Zeus, as well as Isis or my Cusicotl, depending on what team I needed to run for the wave, because this one hero can combo attack very well with Shamash, which allows you to, again, kind of get more basic attacks on enemies, and especially if you're able to use the divinity or the speed up, for example, on Scatty and empty it down, you force her to attack with the basic ability of your Shamash. So you get basically almost 2 to 3 instances always of trying to freeze a target, which is so good, can I say? And because of that, Scatty can lock down a lot of people. So when you are trying to kill Pangu and you tried and you can't physically kill him in one cycle of all the damage, well, the next best thing is to stop them from doing anything. It really is. And Sham was right. Freezing the target or putting Confuse onto these targets for one turn alone was just enough for us to basically do our damage, buy a turn, do more damage to kill maybe 1 or 2 of the targets. And because of that, there's only 2 enemies left that were low priority, and they weren't going to do that much damage to me. So then I could clean them up, go to wave 2, and repeat. And the thing is, I would say Mordred and Scatty in my team was interchangeable, because they did have different roles. And I'm going to be honest with you. If you went against a wave which had like a Hercules and Lady Shock, for example, just giant area of effect, and it was on one wave and one wave only, that's where the Mordred came in, because he was always guaranteed you to basically buy you the turn that you needed. If you needed that more uptime, let's just say you needed more crowd control because wave 1 had an Isis and a Pangu and someone else, and you needed to freeze the Pangu so you could kill everyone else and then him so you didn't kill the damage, right? Or kill the Isis first, vice versa. Any strat you needed, that's where Scatty came in. Scatty came in because, yes, she has a 50% chance to freeze, which isn't as good as Mordred's A2, but her A1 after is better than Mordred's, because this is still a freeze compared to your Mordred that's actually placing a corrupt and stealing buffs, which is very valuable against Isises, I will say, in the right lineups that you're going against. But yeah, those two were the missing pieces. And I'm going to be honest, even though Zeus is a cheat code, those heroes, what I've just talked about, the Mordreds, the Scatty, the Achilles, the Brynhild, even the Isolde and Tristan, those honestly were my real team and real carries. And I could have played with Guan Yu, I could have played with the Beowulf, Gilgamesh. Osiris is actually a fantastic DPS, and I think people are sleeping on him because they don't realize that you're able to get this thing off very often and just go boom, 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 and nuke people down, which is so good. It's so goddamn good. So you can run all of these alternative heroes if I didn't get Zeus. And this is where I'm going to kind of finish the video and talk about my experiences because of this, because I'm going to be honest, obviously, I am super proud of myself of finishing 6th. I am. I could have potentially maybe gotten higher if I didn't sleep in as long and didn't have a quick 5-hour sleep to keep, punching through. But the real thing I want to mention is this Zeus, because I honestly feel like Zeus was the speed run of Alpha Wave 3. And I do think, obviously, the team that are going to be watching this, and I think Simon as well, who will be watching this maybe in the background listening in, will agree that this hero just needs to get toned down. He really needs to get toned down. This hero was just too good in every right. And the way I think you tone him down is honestly hitting this percentage, because I think you should give him a 25% chance, like he does, to get an extra turn. And if you kill an enemy, you should get an additional 25% chance and give him a 50% chance, basically, to roll and get that kill. Because you got to think, when you're looking at heroes like Scatter, you can even look at other heroes in the game, like even Achilles. You're putting a 50% chance on a bleed, and you're almost comparing it at the same, you know, power level as being able to basically one-shot someone. And that's kind of nuts. Like, I don't think this should be as accessible. And the way I would do it, like I said, is probably through the awakenings. I would make it so maybe you need him awakened 3 to get that 75%, or even awakened 5 to get that, you know, 75%, because that extra turn trigger is honestly what makes Zeus as powerful as he is. It isn't even to do with his A2, which honestly does an absurd amount of damage, his A3, which has a really good joint attack on it too. It is honestly this A1. This A1 allowed me to cheat so much, and it is the speed runner's wet dream hero for Godforge. I've got to be honest, it really is. And it is a bit unfortunate that's the way the cookie kind of crumbled in you know, this experience, because, you know, I don't think it should have, you know what I mean? I really don't think it should have. But when you are competing, obviously, as anyone will tell you, and you're trying to win, you are going to take advantage of every tool you have advantage of. And I don't regret any single part of it at all. I'm going to be honest. I absolutely loved my entire experience from 1 all the way up to 150 that I live streamed for 24 hours for you guys on the channel. And yeah, I can't go back, and I can't wait for the future. Hopefully, who knows? Hopefully, I might be lucky and able to actually go onto the challenge level, because you can see these guys are at 265 stars, and on my game, I'm on 201. And the difference between a lot of those guys compared to me is I have access to all the different levels. So you can see I am MrSneakyy being sneaky down here on rank 33. So I think as this video is probably being uploaded, and as you guys are probably watching this video, if you refresh this page, you'll probably see that I'm not going to be on 201 anymore, and I might be a lot higher up here when it comes in terms of stars. And maybe, just maybe, my chances of potentially winning one of those Vegas tickets to go up there with the team is still on the board. And if I can, that'll be honestly fantastic. And if I don't, who knows? We still have the final boss damage that we can do, and we even have the potential of technically being randomly picked. So we never know. We never know. But that is honestly my 24 hours of Godforge, the teams that I were running, my heroes that were running, why I were running them, heroes that I think you guys should be looking out for, aka Achilles. I think Achilles is the king of kings, and don't worry, I'm going to be making some brand new videos and guides for Godforge on the channel, so smash like, comment, and subscribe if you want to learn more Godforge content here and have a good time as well. So until then, stay safe, stay sneaky, peace out.